Hey guys, what's up? It's another 3count with Gino. We're going to talk about World's End, which was just 3 days ago now. I, for an end-of-year pay-per-view for a major company, I'd say it's average at best. Okay, few good matches overall, was nothing impressive. Following that, we're actually talking about the go-home show for Raw, as Raw is actually going to Netflix next week. So for the first time in 32 years, Raw is no longer on USA Network. Even Toddy here, who's what, 3.5 years old? Tots, 3 years old. Just started watching wrestling with Papa 3 years ago. She's a little excited and stoked at the same time. But for somebody who's been watching wrestling the majority of their life and only known ever to be on USA, I can say I'm over the moon for the fact that it's going to be going to a different platform in a year now, in a week, sorry. And very interested, very interested. But as a goal, I'm sure we'll talk about that when we get to it. But we're going to start with World's End, like I said, and I'd say I was about 75% on the mark with my predictions for the show, wasn't I, guys? We're even gonna start with the kickoff show like I probably predicted. Tony Storm versus Layla Gray. Layla Gray had a decent showing, but it still showed she's very green. That being said, I'd still give her a 10 out of 10 over Anna Jay. I mean, Layla Gray's been champion before in companies before. Anna Jay came close to titles, but they're too afraid to put the title on there, and I don't blame her. Blame them, sorry, because she's not good enough anywhere to have a title on her. At least Layla Gray has some charisma or attitude about her. Anna Jay's got nothing, sorry. I'm not hating on Anna Jay, I just don't think Anna Jay's worth putting a belt on at this point. That being said, Tony Storm wins again. We have a backstage promo. Now we get to the first quotation marks time ever. Tony Storm and Deonna Purrazzo on Dynamite on Wednesday, on New Year's Day. Hooray! Can you see the excitement in my voice? I think the last time they had a match, Tony Storm beat her by kicking her in the crotch and giving her a pile driver. We'll see what happens. Following that match, we had Jeff Jarrett versus QT Marshall. Um, 2 for 2. Jeff Jarrett wins. That's all I'm gonna say about that match. It wasn't memorable at all. They both had a pretty good showing. You can tell that Jeff Jarrett's age is very much catching up to him. And apparently on Wednesday he's gonna have an announcement. He's been doing this for God as long as I can remember. I've been following Jeff Jarrett's career for a long time. That's why I say as God as I can remember. I mean, I'm 40 and he's been around as long as I've been alive. So I kind of hope he doesn't retire and go away, but I kind of also hope that he just goes behind the scenes. We'll see what happens. I just, I think Jeff Jarrett wrestling matches should be a once and again occasion, I guess you could say, or keep him on ROH where you can barely see him. Also, I forgot to mention on the last couple of videos, due to the fact that Raw, SmackDown, and Netflix are all going to Raw, SmackDown, and NXT are all going to Netflix in Canada. Impact Wrestling is now going to be on Sportsnet in Canada, and it's called not Rampage, or Rampage is canceled. The Saturday show for AEW, I can't remember what it's called. That's going to be on TSN now. So Canada's going to have a lot of wrestling to watch, and also SmackDown's going to be 3 hours now for everyone that doesn't know that. All right, now back to World's End. We had that from four team tag team match, 8-man match, I guess you could say, with Turbo Magnum and Truth Floyd, and Top Flight Dante and Darius Martin with Layla Gray versus Action Andretti and Leo Rush and the Murder Machines of Lance Archer and Brian Cage. Very good match. Took up the rest of the pre-show. A lot of action, a lot of high-flying spots. Truth Magnum and Turbo Floyd are going to be the breakout stars of 2025 in AEW. I'm calling that right now. Um, I don't know if the right team won, but the number one contenders to the tag team titles in this match are Action Andretti and Leo Rush. Clearly, they're not going to win. I think the Murder Machines, sorry, should be the tag team champions, and they're going to get to those belts soon. Following that, to kick off the the pay-per-view, I called it right off the bat, so I'll go 4 for 4 to start. Will Ospreay versus Kyle Fletcher. My opinion, one of the two matches of the night. Will Ospreay gets busted open early and bad. and they sell this throughout the whole night. See if we would make a comeback for a second match, and I guess I kind of just spoiled it right there. He hits the Styles Clash out of nowhere halfway through the match, and Will Ospreay and Kyle Fletcher tied 1-1. Will Ospreay's going to the main event, or going to the what's called finals for the Continental Championship against Kazuchika Okada. There, I was wrong. I didn't think Okada would be able to keep the belt. I think that Okada would drop the belt at this point and just take some time off. But Okada is gold. And it makes sense why Okada won. I'll explain on later on in the night. Um, Good match between Okada and Ricochet. Okada wins with this is obviously his lariat. But what a way to bury guys quickly as you get him into a company. This being Ricochet, is now he's feuding with Swerve Strickland. And the whole toilet paper gimmick's gotten out of control. And he came to the point now where Ricochet got toilet papered by a crowd led on by a fellow wrestler. In my opinion, that's AW's way of just giving up on a guy. They humiliate him in front of everyone. The fans throw toilet paper at him. And it's a wrestler, Swerve Strickland, who's one of the most over guys in the company, leading the humiliation of this dude. It's a good way to just say, like, we gave up on you already before you even started. You're a good wrestler, but there's nothing else you can really bring to the table. So therefore, we're gonna bury your ass. You can see why WWE let you walk so easily. That's my take on it. I mean, it could be just a gimmick and a story, but to me, it looks like they've just given up on him, and Ricochet's gonna just be at best. That's my personal opinion. Following that, we had Mariah May and Thunder Rosa in a Tijuana street fight match, women's street fight match for the AEW Women's Championship, and I am 5 for 6. I told you Mariah May was gonna win. Good match, a lot of crazy spots. Thunder Rosa's dad gets involved. Thunder Rosa does a crazy drop kick off of a table. Thumbtacks are involved where Mariah May hits Mayday into thumbtacks. Eventually, Mariah May wins with the Storm Zero through a table. This whole story is just going to lead back to Mariah May facing Tony Storm, Rockstar, but it'd be Tony Storm thinking she's facing Mariah May for the first time. And then she's going to somehow remember what Mariah May did to her, and Tony Storm is winning the belt back. That's my personal opinion of this, but Mariah May is the star of 2024 in AEW. Following that, I believe it was probably my opinion one of the two matches of the night. Powerhouse Will Hobbs, or sorry, no, following that it was MJF and Adam Cole. And all I'm gonna say is thank God this feud is over. Adam Cole loses because he gets kicked in the dick and heat seeks, and MJF keeps the Dynamite ring. He's never gonna lose it. But legitimately, who was the goddamn heel in the story? Every time that Adam Cole seems to try and get revenge on MJF, it takes 5 people. But MJF is the bad guy. Can he do anything on his own? Does Tony Khan know what a heel and a face is? What I'm trying to say is all 5 of the guys from Undisputed Kingdom do their moves onto MJF as the match is over, and Adam Cole finishes off by pinching MJF in the face with the Dynamite ring. They leave him laying. But yet, Adam Cole's the good guy. Okay. And Adam Cole's the guy that became the devil that was tormenting MJF, but Adam Cole's the good guy. Okay. I suppose. Following that, we actually had probably my opinion, the match of the night with Tenosuke Takeshita versus Powerhouse Will Hobbs. And what a showing by Will Hobbs. Takeshita is a star, and I was kind of sold on Will Hobbs, but what a showing by this dude, man! Like the way he's able to sail his knee, like he's come so far in 5 years compared to people like, and I hate to keep bringing this back, and Anna Jay or even a Wardlow for that matter of fact, or other people that are on this roster. But what a showing! Will Hobbs just made himself an absolute superstar in that match, my personal opinion. Probably, like I said, one of the two matches of the night, and one of 4 title matches in a row, if I'm not mistaken. But just, what else can I say? I was wrong. I thought Will Hobbs would win the belt. Takeshita keeps it. He's still the international champion. So I got 2 matches wrong of that night. Um, but just what a performance by both guys. Takeshita, we can see why he was gonna be a star. Will Hobbs just became a star, in my opinion. Keep your eye on this dude in 2025. Following that, we had Mercedes Monet versus Chris Statlander. And if I already did my my matches of the year for 2024 and did my list a couple weeks ago, this might have been number 2 or 3. This was better than the first match these two girls had with each other. There's one scary spot. I don't know if it was planned or if Mercedes slipped or if Chris Statlander was too big for her to hold up. But they did this like weird tombstone looking face plant thing on the ring apron. Yeah, it even scared Toddy here. She didn't even know what was going on, right, Tots? And yes, Statlander just legitimately went straight face down into the ring apron, which, if you ask people like Simon Miller, is the scariest part of the hardest part of the ring. Landed weird, sold it like she was pretty much dead, and got in at 9.99999 before the count out. Now here's my personal gripe, and I think I might start a personal gripe on each one of these videos by 2025. Since when is the tombstone not a death move? Like, I mean, Undertaker did everything in his power to make wrestling seem realistic. And then this new generation goes and does this to make his finishing move, which nobody ever kicked out of or even did anything against to even be able to defend, as like a setup move to something. Sorry, pay your respect to the man. That's a finishing move. The tombstone is a finishing move. Nothing should happen after that. The match ends. That's my personal opinion. People can come make comments and do whatever they want in this video, but in my opinion, move like the DDT, the tombstone, super kick. That's it. Match is over. You don't get out of those matches. Moves. The stunner, another one. The rock bottom. Those are just like you. Sorry. If a hip check from a girl in NXT is a finishing move, a tombstone where you get drilled on the top of your fucking skull while upside down is a finishing move. That's not a 1-2 ooh. Or if you're in the outside of the ring, 9.999999, and you're back in the ring. No. But getting back on topic with this match, amazing storytelling by both these girls. Statlander had like 15 to 1-2 oohs. Mercedes had a few as well. And the end, it's a weird, crazy pin finisher. These two girls just have instant chemistry with each other. But here's my question from Statlander. Where do you go from here? You've won the TBS title. You've won it twice. And every chance you've had since then, you've just not came close enough. And they're not putting in the women's title picture for who knows what reason. And the one match you did have, you lost. Maybe it's, I don't know if she's got a contract going on or if she's done contract with AEW. Maybe it's time for her to move on to greener pastures. I mean, there's a rumor there's another girl going in NXT soon. I'd love to see Chris Statlander and the WWE see what they can do with this girl. She's so uber talented. And I think she might just be a little bit too big for most of these girls outside of Willow Nightingale in AEW, because I'm not trying to be an asshole or nothing like that. But a lot of the girls in the AEW are very tiny girls. Like, this Mercedes Monet is probably what, 80 pounds soaking wet? Britt Baker's not much bigger. Sky Blue's not much bigger. Anna Jay's not much bigger. And then you got girls like Willow Nightingale and Chris Statlander. And don't get me started on girls like the Magic Girl, whose name I can't remember right now. But she's injured a lot because she gets hurt a lot. Penelope Hart's not a big girl. Ty Conti's not a big girl. I mean, Camille's already gone off TV. She's too big to work with most of these girls. I think Statlander is too. Following that, we had the match of the night, in my opinion. These guys are just amazing. And we had record tires, I should say. Fourth Continental Classic, Okada versus Will Ospreay. What a match. All I'm going to say, I'm not going to talk about it because I will not be able to do justice by talking about it, but you should take 35 minutes out of your life if you're a wrestling fan. At some point, maybe during the next 2 days since the holiday, just look for this match. Okada ties the record for tournament wins. He's got 5 now. But what a match. What a match. What a match. That's all I'm going to say. What storytelling. And like I said, he was coming back. The end of this match, who comes out to bring Okada the belt? It is none other than the cleaner Kenny Omega. So Omega's going to be on his way back to AEW very soon. He's an EVP again. And excuse me guys. And I believe we're going to see Omega versus Okada in the very, very near future. Don't put the bet on Kenny yet. Let Okada keep his title reign for a bit longer. I like Kenny and I'm happy he's back. But Kenny doesn't need a belt right now. He just needs to start doing some things, see what happens, and then we'll go from there. My personal opinion. Following that, we had the four-way match for the AEW World's title. Marina Shafir took a Blade Runner in the match. Crazy as that was. There's a few other finishers. There's points where the AEW team got together. Sorry, I forgot to mention it in the match. John Moxley, um, Hangman Adam Page, Blade Runner Jay White, sorry, Switchblade Jay White. If you call him Blade Runner, that's his finishing move. And Orange Cassidy. The three guys from AEW actually did some damage against Moxley. They even did a triple shield powerbomb, busted the back of Moxley's head open. Apparently, he's fine. Then they started turning on each other, like was predicted. The Death Runners get involved. Death Riders, sorry, get involved. It was a really weird match. It seemed to end really quickly, and the wrong person took the pin, in my opinion. I think it should either been Orange Cassidy or Adam Page, but it's Jay White who takes the pin after Berserker knee, and then looked like a Death Rider, but I'm not quite sure. I think Moxley might have been a little concussed, and then they were gonna beat the hell out of Jay White, and FTR come out with Adam Copeland, I should say. Yeah, that's right. Edge is back to mediocre reaction. Nobody really cared that much because once again, that's why it's the eighth time Adam Copeland's came back. They attacked the Death Riders. Wednesday we have John Moxley, Claudio Castagnoli, and Wheeler Yuta versus those three. We know what's going to happen in that match. Wheeler Yuta's taking the pin. Like I said, overall, not the best of pay-per-views. I had some moments, but I also had some like, okay, this is not very good moments. There's a few matches I don't think were pay-per-view worthy, and there's a few that I thought could have went a little longer than they did, or told a little bit better story if they did. If that makes sense. I'm not gonna have like a meltergasm, and anybody that knows wrestling knows what that means. I'd say on average, if I was to rate that whole pay-per-view, maybe six, 6 out of 10. I People shitting all over Survivor Series. I thought this pay-per-view was far worse than Survivor Series, in my personal opinion. And I'm not an AEW hater. I judge both AEW and WWE equally. I just personally think WWE is the better product because they've been doing it for longer and they've been far more successful at it. Whereas AEW's had a lot of like WCW stumbles. Does that make sense to you guys? All right, so I'm gonna leave it at that. Um, and just now we had the actual go home show for the first ever Raw on Netflix, January 6th. But before we get to that, I want to say thank you to USA for airing WWE for the last 32 years, making my life and many other people's life so very enjoyable, and the ability to escape reality for a few hours a day every Monday at first, and then Thursday, and then became eventually Friday. It was a brilliant product. You guys did amazing keeping it on air, and a lot of people thought it was going to fail. So for that, I say thank you, and I appreciate you. I've had a lot of good memories watching it on your guys' network. As a personal aside to you guys, and yeah, thank you. But the go home show itself started off with the New Day getting booed out of the goddamn building, which was hilarious. And Jey Uso just comes out to New Day sucks, sets up a match on the go home show that's going to go to Netflix between Jey Uso and Drew McIntyre. Jey Uso had a fantastic year, and I think for the storyline to keep working, Drew McIntyre needs to win. We got Dakota Kai going to the finals of the Women's Championship in 2 weeks against Lyra Valkyrie, who had, I don't know if there's two women in wrestling right now that are better or hotter than Lyra Valkyrie and Io Sky. I'm so happy I got 2 weeks to pick who's going to win this match because either women can win this match for other reasons whatsoever. I don't know. There's a little bit of a teaser that Becky Lynch could be returning at some point, maybe this Monday night or next Monday night. She's in the trailer. You even see Drew McIntyre getting upset when he's watching the trailer that Becky's in it. So Becky is on her way back. But overall, we got Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan next week coming up, and I think there's going to be a nice little title change there. We got Seth Rollins and CM Punk. We got the Ula Fele match, the Bloodline Rules match, whatever you want to call it. Roman Reigns versus Tribal Combat. Roman Reigns versus Solo Sikoa. Roman Reigns is clearly going to win that match. Get the Ula follow back. CM Punk and Seth Rollins. I think this is going to be a whole year thing. They actually had an amazing promos to close out Raw and to end everything on USA Network. I am so stoked for what's going to happen with Netflix. Ever since I found out they were going to Netflix a couple, half a year ago now, all I kept thinking in my head is, what can they do? What kind of crazy ideas can they come up? What's the concept going to be like? What's this going to be like? And we're about to find out. I think we're going to see the best WWE you guys have ever seen in your lives. Now that they got this creative freedom, there's not as many rules on Netflix. It's going to be broadcast worldwide. There are a lot more homes on this streaming platform. The fact that all their product, their pay-per-views, everything is going to be on Netflix. Like, this is game changing in so many ways, and everyone knows why. But as a go home show in itself, Raw tonight, the chef's kiss. Just, my personal opinion, brilliant. Made you buy into all these different storylines. We had Sheamus return and go after Ludwig Kaiser. Side note, look out for Ludwig Kaiser. He may be on my list next year, or this year coming up in 2025. This guy's going to be an absolute superstar of a heel. For some weird reason, the world champion was not on this week's show. The storyline, which everyone complains about storylines that don't die in AEW, well, there's one in WWE that doesn't seem to want to die either. For the love of God, please end Finn Balor and Damian Priest. It's just not working. No matter who you put Damian Priest with, let it be Rhea Ripley or the Viking Raiders, War Raiders, War Machine, whatever you want to call them, it doesn't work. I like Damian Priest. I love Finn Balor. I like Judgment Day, but Judgment Day is going to end clearly. And surprisingly, of all the people who took the pinfall in the match tonight, it was Dominic Mysterio. It kind of makes me to further believe that the Judgment Day is going to break up very soon, and everything's going to be blamed on Finn. Or Finn's just going to get kicked out of Judgment Day, one of the two. Due to his obsession with Damien. And I believe that's probably going to lead to a match in 2 weeks' time between Damien and Finn. I think something's going to happen on Netflix this week coming up. I'm very interested to see what's going to happen with it because it's the first 3-hour Raw in what 2 3 months now. There's probably so many ideas these guys are going to throw out the wall and see what happens. Just see what the Netflix audience is like. It's a brand new audience for a lot of it too. And let's go. I'm here for this ride. I hope I hope a lot of you guys are too. And I'll get back at you guys on Friday after SmackDown and give you my opinions and all that. NXT tomorrow night. We got 1 week until we get with Julia and Roxanne Perez. I think this is going to be Roxanne Perez's final match in that NXT, as we have all the transfer windows, as they're calling it, kind of like a college football thing or college athletics thing. I believe you're going to see Roxanne Perez have to show up in 2 weeks' time to interfere in the Intercontinental title match, and maybe help Lyra or screw Lyra and give um Dakota the title, or challenge Lyra or an attack Lyra right after she wins the Intercontinental title. And I think Cora Jade may be coming with Roxanne because I think both the time in NXT is done. It's either that or Julia loses and Julia joins Damage Control. So as far as I'm concerned, Julia and Stephanie Van Cur's time in NXT is done. They don't need to be there anymore. It'd be cool to see them both have a title there and a nice little title run, see what happens. But they're both so over and they're both so good. They don't need to be there no more. Maybe solely for the fact they can't speak English very well. But neither can most of Damage Control, and they all somehow made it to the NXT. I mean, made it up to the next level. And I want to say one thing that, sorry, before I close here, guys. Wade Barrett was calling her the best women's wrestler in the world. I say Tessa Blanchard's the best woman, best wrestler in the world. Woman, man, no matter what. I think there's a close second, or maybe even a tie for 1 and 1B. Io Sky and Tessa Blanchard might be the best two wrestlers on the planet right now, in my personal opinion. CM Punk goes around calling himself best in the world. I dare somebody to go find me a bad Tessa Blanchard Io Sky match. I dare you, just anywhere. Please. Alright. On that note, guys, I will talk to you in a few days and have a good Happy New Year's. Peace.